Greetings, guys. Welcome to Married at First Sight. We're on season 20, episode 2. I am actually a little behind. It's been a crazy week. But I wanted to continue to share my thoughts on the couples and how things are unfolding thus far. Quick disclaimer, I'm a sociologist with a background in psychology. I love to people watch. I'm also an empath, so I hate to tear people down. It may come across that way at times because we're digging into the mess and this reality TV. We're looking for, the drama and, sometimes the trauma, unfortunately, because it makes good TV. So, take everything that I say with a grain of salt. Now, let's get back into Adam and Marissa. Green flags, they seem to genuinely be attracted to one another. Adam admits that she was one of the few women that he actually felt was attractive enough to approach, which is a good sign. So they already had each other's numbers before the experiment. So that shows that their lifestyle and chemistry are pretty aligned, which is a good thing. Adam seems very image conscious, though. I would call that a yellow flag. He does seem to care about how things present and what people think about them. The piano performances are starting to feel like overkill. I think okay, I'm a musical person. I kind of have always played a little bit by ear. I'm actually getting a little more into that, side note. But not everybody is a music person. And as a music person, I could talk someone's ear off about my favorite songs and how much I love to sing and write lyrics, but with the wrong person they can get overly bored and sometimes even a little turned off. So the fact that Marissa and her friends seemed a little bit amused, and the fact that he always seems to want to perform Sonata number 5, the longest compositions ever, is definitely a bit of a yellow flag for me. He doesn't seem to know how to just do his one little composition to get out of there. There's always multiple. This is the second time we've seen people kind of looking around the room all right, is he done yet? So I don't know, it kind of gives performer, at the same time kind of not knowing how to read the room, kind of trying to maybe be the quintessential Renaissance man, kind of impressing. I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of a sitcom character who stereotypically does everything well. What is that, Meet the Fockers? The Fockers where the ex-boyfriend could whittle things out of wood and da-da-da-da-da and all that stuff, but she ended up not with him, right? So I'm kind of seeing a little bit of a pattern there. I guess the jury's still out on that. Okay. Mecca and Belle Jolie. The green flags are Mecca seems genuinely invested, and Belle Jolie is maintaining healthy boundaries, which is always good in the beginning because you don't want somebody to be too all in. Because, in the past that hasn't worked out well for the women. The red flags is the red flag is that Mecca spiraled after Belle declined the wedding kiss. Now, I don't think the fact that she declined the kiss was necessarily a red flag, because I think she just was getting to know him and wanted to be a lady and, just kiss me on the cheek right now because everybody's here. We don't really know each other. It's a little uncomfortable. But he took that as a red flag, as though maybe she wasn't interested, which kind of just goes back to the fact that he's had all these insecurities, saying that he never genuinely felt loved. And I said in the last one that I felt like it might take some doing to convince him that she genuinely wanted him. So starting out that way is probably not a good thing. His father is one of the biggest red flags I've seen thus far. It gives humiliation ritual, right? Almost everything that he said about him was something embarrassing. And unnecessarily so. He kind of seemed like he was trying to bond with Belle over like the things that he didn't like about him, which I just wonder what role he has played in his relationships not working out. I guess the jury's still out on that. I definitely found it to be a red flag when Belle said she wanted a black man and that she was attracted, and the father said, "Oh, well, you know, I tried to get him out of the being with whoever wants him thing," which to me usually means some type of misogynoir. You know, it's like, well, I haven't been around many black women, so blah blah blah. You know, the things that men who don't normally date black women a lot of times come up with. So I'm not sure what his dating history looks like, but it sounds like it hasn't been a lot of black women, which I mean may have just been because he didn't think they were interested, or maybe because he has some type of biases. I guess we will see over time, right? Felipe and Tori, green flags. They have very strong chemistry. Tori is gorgeous and comes across as very warm and grounded. And I think, honestly, I think one of the reasons that the family likes Tori so much is because she is very pretty and she is warm. But I think, like, this was very much a stat, like, oh, wow, yeah, we're going to have beautiful grandkids. Like, it really seems like something like that. Could be wrong, but that's what it was giving. Either way, they do seem to genuinely accept her and love her, but you know, what goes up must come down. So I'm wondering how things will start to pan out once they learn more about her personality. Yellow flags. Felipe's friend said that he has a pretty big ego. And I still wonder if Felipe values romantic relationships as much as he values his friendships. His bromances seem very strong. Sometimes those types of men use women as accessories, which would kind of make sense, especially given that he hasn't had much luck in love and seems like he very much is in environments where he meets people all the time. So again, I guess we'll see, but I mean, I like them so far. Nick and Courtney, green flags. There's already mutual attraction. They seem very much spiritually aligned. They also have similar conservative views. Both come from close-knit functional families. Nick says he's never cheated, which is great because Courtney is afraid of being cheated on or abandoned. They both admit to having issues of loneliness, and Courtney seems very intentional about marriage. The yellow flags, though, Courtney struggles with the fear of abandonment and infidelity, as I stated. Which, I mean, I think many people have, right? But if that's at the forefront of her mind, you know, sometimes that can bring in insecurities that, you know, cause problems even when there are none. She admitted that she doesn't always think that she deserves to be loved in the way that, you know, she is seeking. So sometimes that can be a conflict, right? Because you're seeing it and you're getting what you want, but you're like, what's the catch? I feel like her perfectionism is probably connected to that insecurity. She probably works out intensely on her body and stuff because that's one of the things she actually has control over. But I don't know. You know, and I want to address something. You guys have been pretty mean about Courtney's appearance, saying like that she looks older, blah blah blah. I think like it's maybe the muscle tone thing that people are kind of picking up on that kind of makes her look a little bit older, at least on TV. But I think she's really pretty, and it seems like Nick is attracted. So I think you guys need to let that go. Now, I definitely find his reality TV history to be a yellow flag. I didn't immediately recognize him from The Circle, but now I do. And as someone who watched The Circle, those people are, you know, very crafty, right? And he's been on, they keep saying like 4 reality shows. I'm not sure which ones they are, but I do know that one was a dating show. And when he mentioned his reality TV history to Courtney, he did not mention the dating show, which I found a little bit iffy. So I'm not really sure about that. He definitely is still close to people that he met on reality TV, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it also seems like, is that just where he wants to be? Like, is this just another attempt to keep himself relevant in the reality TV circle or try to climb the ladder? I don't know, you know, but, at the end of the day, he definitely seems like he's into her, but it's also like, again, he's from the circle, no shade. So he could just be like playing the game, quote unquote, and knowing what to say and, you know, how to say it in order to not look like a doucher on TV. So for now, I feel like they're a strong match, but I'm still side-eyeing them a little bit, and it's really because of him. Cameron and Michelle, green flags. Michelle wants a traditionally masculine man, which Cameron very much seems to be that. They both say that they're dating with the intention of marriage, but Michelle's father is skeptical of the process, even though he was matched, which, I mean, it's good. She has a protective father, but, you know, sometimes it can be, you know, a little bit of a sixth sense thing, so I guess we'll see what's going on with that. The red flag is Cameron has never been in a long-term relationship. Are you kidding me? Like, okay, I'm an optimist as much as anyone else, but that is a major red flag because he doesn't even really know what real relationships entail. And I don't necessarily think the time to find that out is when you get married to a stranger at first sight. This could either be, you know, a great match or like a huge dumpster fire once he figures out everything that is expected of him and everything that he has to deal with to be in a relationship long term. Also, I think that Michelle has had a sense of urgency when it comes to getting married and having kids because she said she had fibroids since her mid-20s. So I'm not even sure if she's necessarily into him, or just like into, I'm gonna be a mom, I'm gonna be a wife, and using that as like, you know, an identity thing. So I mean, I'm hoping for the best, but who knows, right? Now, Sean and Nikki, green flags. Both seem to be open and honest. Nikki claims she isn't rigid about her physical preferences, but I don't know. I'm not so sure. And Sean is self-aware about his background and experiences. Yellow flags. Sean is a bit of a late bloomer, romantically and sexually. He said he lost his virginity at 21 and didn't have sex again until he was 29, which, I mean, I'm not judging, but that's a little crazy. He said he kind of had a repressed sexuality up until later, because I think he was like in a religious family, which sometimes can, you know, manifest itself in ways later in life. He definitely seems very sexually driven these days. He said he likes women with long legs. Very much got that with Nikki. Nikki is gorgeous. She's a little younger than him, although I feel like on screen he looks like a lot older than her. Like, I feel like he could probably use a makeover. No shade to him. He's actually a good looking man. He just looks like a lot older than she does. And she did not initially seem attracted to him. I don't know, I guess we'll have to see in the next episode, but I didn't get that she was very attracted to him. She also said she prefers taller men, which he is not, but she also said that he can make up for it in other ways, and he definitely is successful. He's artsy. He has like probably every other quality she's looking for, but a lot of times people say those types of things so they're actually in that situation and they realize that they can't actually overcome their issues with the aesthetics. And, you know, given that it's on TV, there's all this pressure. I don't know how this is going to play out. Like I said, he definitely seems into the sex, okay? And he said he would even be happy to have a honeymoon baby, so he's ready to get right into it now. She said, you know, maybe I'm a sapiosexual, but didn't fully even know the term. So I'm not sure if she genuinely is one. I do think she is the type of person that may be able to develop the love for him over time. But I also think it's highly possible that she's way more superficial than she's letting on. And it seemed almost like she was fighting herself when she was talking about it. She's like, no, I'm not that way anymore. I've grown so much since then. It's like, but have you though? So at the end of the day, I mean, I guess, you know, this is episode 2, so jury's still out. But again, these are my preliminary thoughts. That's all I got, guys. Later.